Welcome, Capricorn. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your full moon in Virgo reading, a lunar eclipse happening on the 3rd of March. The sun in Pisces, naturally, with a full moon. The sun is opposite the moon in Virgo. The sun in Pisces is also conjunct Mercury and Venus, but Mercury is going retrograde, which is really allowing expanding this pause that we're being gifted by the universe right now. This pause is an opportunity with all Mercury retrogrades to review, to readjust, to realign, to rethink things that we are already beginning to put in motion. And with the powerful Saturn-Neptune conjunction in 0 degrees of Aries, we are all being prepared to move into building our dreams in a fresh, more embodied way. By embodied, I mean more tangible, more practical, more realistic. And we're providing the structures for that. But this Mercury retrograde gives us an opportunity to make sure that the lessons we've learned, the changes we've made, are allowed to flow into the routines and habits that we necessarily establish to help us cope with the world and the uncertainty in the world. I pulled the Worthy card from the Energy Archaeology, and I have to say, for we strong Saturnian types, Capricorn's ruler, that structures are part of the way the energy archaeology is designed. It is about the skeleton, and for you healers and body workers, it offers a wealth of information specifically about body parts, skeletal parts. This particular Worthy card is aligned with the first finger and the first toe. And so there's ample information about that, which I am not going to read to you, but I am going to share with you that the keywords when in balance are self-assured and centered. And the wisdom reads, the world around you and the stories you've created about your experiences of this world influence your alignment to worth and worthiness. How worth relates to value, which bodies are seen as worthy, and how all these things are internalized and reflected in the world around you. Rest in your worthiness. Set down the patterns and programs that have you chasing worth like it's not already something inherent in your bones. You do not have to prove your worth or value to anyone, not even yourself. You get to feel it, believe it, and embody it, and then speak it. I am worthy because I am. When you feel and believe this deep inside, it has no other possibility than to ripple out from you, echoing across the land and rearranging your life to one of worthiness and wholeness. Wow. That is so beautiful. I think that's the reading. I have the sun and the moon here, present, past, and future, and I'll start with the sun. The Devil card. How appropriate. This is our card, some would say. This is also about structures, the status quo, the way things are. And again, I'm feeling the way you are finding your place in the world, where you belong, what is your path, what is your contribution. It feels as though you have recognized that your worthiness is assigned or evaluated, perceived by others, by the machine, the man, the institutions of our social experience. And you have consciously and unconsciously measured yourself against those standards, and quite often felt not always unworthy, but burdened, challenged, finding that your life experience has revolved often around meeting the expectations of others, as defined by others, as dictated by others. I believe that this is something you are now clearly aware is no way to live. not only is it not appropriate for you, but the world as we know it is changing so dramatically that this needs to find some realignment in our lives. In the moon energy, we have the Ten of Wands. And this is interesting because it talks about releasing this very expectation that has been imposed on us by the world. The things your mother wanted you to do, the things your father wanted you to do, the way you were trained by the educational institutions, the way you were defined by your teachers, the way that you, in many cases, have had to struggle against those definitions, which you always knew did not encapsulate or capture your potential. But nevertheless, your willingness to toe the line to gain some imagined success or reward that many of you never experienced. Even if the money or status came, your life was merely burdened with one responsibility, one provision, one obligation after another. You're releasing all that quite physically, which is really in alignment with the full moon in Virgo. This is about embodiment, the mind and the body's integration, the release of habits and routines that no longer serve you. So this is really beautiful energy where you get to not only surrender to those expectations of others, release your desire to find approval from them, but also your ability to know that there is space now, releasing this for other things, things that serve you, things that center you. In the present, we have the King of Wands and the Six of Pentacles. Well, your confidence is brimming at this point. I do feel that as you have released so many of the old obligations that you labored under, that you have understood that all new agreements have to come from your heart. In fact, I almost see you swinging radically in the direction of recognizing the strength that had you able to cope, to survive in this world of tradition, status quo, expectation, is really the strength of your creative powers. And that creativity, that heart's desire, those intentions that evolve from who you are, is what now drives all of your agreements. You're willing to do the work, to just simply stand in your desire, what you want. It certainly has to live out on practical terms when engaging with others, erecting contracts or agreements that are fair and equitable. But at this point, you're not willing to enter into anything that doesn't serve you, that you can't find a purpose for. And this is such a radical change from the way that others have defined what you were allowed to want, and certainly what you were allowed to have. This definitely makes me feel as though you have labored under some very unfair and inequitable conditions and agreements, that you have lost out in contracts that were not fair. But now you are driven purely by the sense of confidence in who you are, and boy, has that elevated your game. You're not even talking on the same terms anymore. You dictate the terms, and if they don't meet your basic requirements, you're willing to compromise, but only so far. In the past, the Seven of Cups talks about this experience in the past as you have recognized how what was expected of you was no longer desirable or achievable truly. You have allowed yourself to be receptive as you've cleared out all these provisions for others. that there is a world of support for you that exists within your own imaginative and creative worlds. Your ability to receive the support of your ancestors, your spirit guides, your relatives, however you define your spirit team, your assistance in this world, you have opened up to spheres, activity, communication, engagement that has erased a sense of loneliness. That loneliness at the top that was always imagined for you is no longer an experience of yours. Your ability to move within into sacred space that you create for the specific purpose of feeling your body's wisdom, not being dictated by what you should do, what the practical world insists is the right way to materialize the right things. You have opened up a wealth of support, options, possibilities, potential, all of which have those very material rewards as part of this opening to support in the world. Yes, there's recognition. Yes, there is love. Yes, there is betrayal, false friends, a big house, fitting into the right circles. That's all there, but that's no longer the sole reason or the sole motivation for you. The motivation now comes from within. What you want to achieve is personal. And this opening up to the support that you have puts you in alignment for the kind of success that has eluded you in the past. In the future, the Hanged Man. I think this is pointing to this incredible realignment that you are experiencing from the inside out. So as you are open to a wealth of emotions and feelings about your experiences and your skills, about your former relationships or current relationships, about your failures or disappointments, you've recognized that you must open up to possibilities or to a larger perspective to accommodate what you're now seeing as possible. This involves standing still, pausing, resting, a lot of rest. And for many of you, rest is like an eternal, not just a challenge, but this is about undoing practices that have insisted you burn the candle at both ends, and work, work, work is the priority. Some of this is built into your chemistry, the busy bee syndrome. Difficult to sit down without thinking of the list of activities to do when you stand up. This is really rethinking that, allowing yourself to meditate or be in stillness, be in silence, be in nature every day as needed, rather than when you can find time, which, as you've learned, is never. So you're prioritizing what feeds your spirit and opens up your possibility of greater connection. If this reading, Capricorn, is resonating with you so far, please like, share, subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I really love your presence here. I feel it, and I appreciate all of you for sticking with me. The Seven of Cups is clarified by the Three of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles and the King of Wands is clarified by the Four of Wands. And the Hanged One is clarified by the Knight of Pentacles. Beautiful. So, the Three of Pentacles clarifying the Seven of Cups. This is about the way that you have established and found within a creative process, a way that you are collaborating within your communities, within your homes, within your professions with other experts. You're finding one another out of a sense of respect and a similar alignment to possibilities, with the understanding, which is so powerful, that you will not know what your collaboration will bring until you have been in the process. You know that you're working on elevating something, a standard, a product or service, to a place of excellence, quality, availability, something that everyone can see and enjoy. But you are deep in the collaborative process, which requires in each present moment to bring the fullness of who you are to that process. That includes leading as your expertise is requiring input, or following as others of other expertise are instructing you or contributing their input. This is really a magical process that brings results. And this is really, in many ways, what you are made for. This is the way you are finding you love to work. This is who you are, a team player. You're not the CEO lonely at the top. That is not you. You are part of a community, part of a team that respects one another and are dedicated to solving problems and creating solutions. In the present, the King of Wands and the Six of Pentacles is clarified by the Four of Wands. This is absolutely beautiful. This is, among other things, the 1111 card, which can indicate a powerful union, not just of two people, a partnership, but of a group of people. This tells me that your social, your cultural, your emotional foundation is vested in learning and being at every moment willing to teach and to learn, to share and receive. So this takes a lot of humility and is opening up the foundation in a way that you can build on, a way in which everyone is celebrated for learning, for the process of achieving, and for celebrating that. This sometimes is described as a wedding, as a community celebration, but it is the acknowledgement of growth, the celebration of growth as the central pillar to whatever it is you as a community are building. In the future, the Hangman is clarified with the Knight of Pentacles. I like this because it's really putting an emphasis on the notion of pause, not rushing, pacing yourself according to your own need to understand and appreciate the moment that you're in, the potential that is before you, the possibilities that you are allowing yourself the space to perceive. Without this pause, you cannot fully embody a vision. You cannot fully recognize the expression of your ideals, your desires. This allows you to contemplate the step forward, to contemplate a rough plan, an outline, and the necessary step, not all the steps, just the first step forward on your own time. This is beautiful because it resists the rush, the pressure that you've been under for so long to produce, to do, to manage, to produce. But this is really you not concerning yourself with when or how, really. It's really about knowing that you will. You're clear, you're coming from your heart. It isn't a matter of if or when or how, because you're already determined that you are aligning yourself in a way that opens up doors, opens up miracles, or certainly the possibility of miracles. I'm going to pull a Yogic Path Oracle to finish up this reading, and I pulled Parvati. I'm going to read from the Yogic Path Guidebook. And Parvati is the goddess of devotion, love, and yoga. You pull upon Parvati when you've taken immense action towards becoming your highest self. In Hindu mythology, Parvati was in love with unattainable Shiva, who was deep in the mountains practicing yoga and detached from the material world. She knew she needed the feminine to bring him down to earth, but he was totally inaccessible. Instead of begging and pleading, Parvati decided to become her highest self and seek enlightenment through yoga. Her family objected, saying women cannot become yogis, but she headed to the mountains anyway, where she stood in a frigid stream, balancing on one leg for unaccountable months or years. Eventually, Shiva felt her immense energy and fell in love with her because of her strength and determination. Parvati represents commitment to practice, unbreakable willpower, and the power of self-transformation. Continue your journey towards enlightenment. Thank you so much, fellow Capricorns. I appreciate you. Until next time, namaste.